Alright, welcome back. Last video we did a proximity sensor using a breadboard, and this time we're going to incorporate the Raspberry Pi and a time of flight sensor. And the way this works is it has a little signal sending module, and it records how much time a signal takes to bounce back, and it gets distance from that. So on this sensor, we have 4 pins of interest. We have the V in, the ground, SCL, and SDA. And so we're going to want to connect those 4 into the Raspberry Pi. And so I have the Pi 3 Model B, and this shows the pin layout here. And so this side corresponds to this portion of the board. So first I'll connect the V in to the 5 VDC power. So that's the first pin on the right. Then I will connect the ground pin to the Pi ground, which is the 3rd pin on the right. So I'm following this diagram right here. And then I connect the SCL to the 3rd pin on the right and the left. Sorry. And then I connect SDA to the 2nd pin on the left. Alright, so now that our pins are connected, we're going to go over to the Raspberry Pi interface. So I'm going to use SSH, and if you don't know how to do that, I'll put a link in the description that gives better instruction. Alright, so now we're in the Raspberry Pi. I'll make this window a little bigger. Cool. Alright, so I'm just going to go into my documents and make a new project folder. We'll do sensor test and then move into that folder. Alright, so now that we're here, this tutorial link I'll post into the description, and so we'll want to make a clone a GitHub repo that someone else has made using this sensor, and this will allow us to interact with it without having to do the nitty-gritty parts of the code. So I'm just git cloning using that copy and paste, and then now we have that git repository in my Pi, and I'm just going to move into it. So cd and then the folder name, and then we want to make the entire distribution. So we want to do make, and then that compiles all the code that's inside there. Great, so we've compiled everything. Oops, clear everything on my screen. There we go. All right, now let's go into the Python directory, and they have a bunch of examples for us. So we can try the one example they give here. And so when I press that, here, let me move the screen here. Then we'll put the camera up here. All right. So when I press enter here and I start moving my hand, you can see the numbers changing because I'm moving my hand closer and further away from the sensor. So this is great, and if you look inside the code, you find that it's a for loop, and it'll just start sensing and sense for 100 iterations and keep outputting values. And so we want to make a small change here, and I want it to sense until I tell it to stop. So let's make a copy of that code. So cp, the file name, and then we'll just do example 2. Alright, so now we have example 2, which is right there. Alright, so now instead of a for loop, we're going to have it be a while. So until I press the Control C, which is the keyboard interrupt, it'll keep running. So we're going to do try, and then right there I just did 4 spaces, so that serves as the indent. So try, and then we indent all of these. Alright, and we won't have this count anymore, so we get rid of that. And we also get rid of this. Alright, we have try, and then except keyboard interrupt. Then if I interrupt with my keyboard, I'll print user stoppage, and then we'll do a pass. So I'll do Control X, Y for yes, and then enter. And now when I run that, enter, it'll keep running until I finally press Control C. There we go. And that is how you get the time of flight sensor up and running on the Raspberry Pi. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video.